Political polls can be a little challenging, right? Right now, we've got conflicting polls, some telling us, oh my God, Biden is screwed. Trump is going to win this thing. Others telling us, hey, Trump has no chance of winning. But at the end of the day, the question is, what do we trust and what do we know is total BS? And that leads me to our next question. Here's a question from YouTube community member Cook4192, who asks, when I look at the polling, I see where Democrats are doing better than Republicans and others show the opposite. Not just that both parties have negative ratings. How will we have a clear idea on where America truly stands for 2024 if we keep getting mixed polling? The last two elections, 2016 and 2020, and you could probably even count the 2022 midterms, the polling has been wildly inaccurate. Like all over the place, wrong. And there is a big reason for that. And it's for a reason I'm going to bring up right now, actually. As I'm sitting here doing this specific segment, I have received 2 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. It was an 800 number. That could have been a political pollster. But I, like millions of other Americans, do not answer numbers that I do not know. Unless they're local. You know, maybe it's the vet calling to say the cats are due for shots. Maybe it's my doctor, whatever. But if I don't know it and it's not local, I'm not answering. We also have an entire generation of people who are the exact opposite. If any number calls their phone, hello, yeah, hello, hi, are you there? Hello, before they wait for it to kick on. And that tends to be the older generation that skews more to the right. The younger generation, the folks that are not answering those unknown name, unknown number, they skew more to the left. And that is one of the biggest problems with political polling. They still do it by the phone. You know, they're calling landlines. Look, nobody under 40 has a landline in their home. I'm sorry. If you do, you know, you're one of the few. So when they make these telephone calls to do the polls, which is how the more accurate polls do it, they're oversampling people whose demographic tends to skew Republicans. You know, that poll that came out recently, the Washington Post, ABC News one that said, oh my God, Trump's winning by 10 points. Do you know what the oversampling of Republicans was? 60% of the respondents in that poll, 60% either self-identified as pure Republican or Republican leaning. That's an inaccurate poll. Can't trust it. Wrong. Gone. And we see that in polling all the time now because you're oversampling these demographics that tend to skew more conservative. And it's not just with the not answering unknown calls. That's just a very good example. But there's other things too, right? You have a generation, the younger generation skews more to the left. They're going to look at anything that comes in the mail that could be a political poll. That's still a way some of them do it. And they're going to toss it out. The online polls that they see, oh, this is probably a scam. I'm going to, enter into a phishing scheme if I click on this. Older folks, hell no, they're just click. I don't care. Not all of them, but they're more likely to do it. So the polling is all over the place. So your question, back to the heart of it, like when can we trust these polls? I don't ever put too much faith in it. On the public opinion stuff, absolutely. I think public opinion things are important when they're polling people on the issues. But in terms of who you're going to vote for, column A or column B, that has been so wildly inaccurate that you really can't trust it. The best you can do is to look at the polling aggregates, see what all the polls combined have to say. That gives you a better picture. But don't ever base anything on one single poll from one single group, one single time. There's just too many variables these days to be able to get purely good, accurate polling like we used to. I don't want to sound like one of those guys. Back in my day, we used to have reliable polls, but kind of feels that way, right? Hey, everyone. This is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button. and help Aspen not be so grumpy.